Right, on to currencies. Have a look at my swing trade at the moment. I'm still in Euro CAD. When we got a potential reversal bar here, I moved my stop to above the previous bar, so I kept in this trade for this move to the downside. We've got another potential reversal bar down here, so I'm moving my stop above Thursday's high because we are looking as if we may still reverse. But I'm going to no, I wouldn't trade this at the moment. If you're not in this, stand one side. But that's the way I'm managing my stop. I've got my stop up here. So we're in a bit of a box at the moment. We may get some further retests of these moving averages, but for the time being, I'm going to keep my stop above Thursday's bar to see if I can get further moves to the downside. Right, euro dollar. We had this wedge breakdown on Friday. I traded this. I traded the breakdown in the pound, and I traded the breakdown in the euro dollar. I got something like 250 points in Forex on Friday. Right, how are we going to trade this? So we've got a wedge breakdown, and we've got very low value chart reading. So the only way I would trade this at the moment is if we get a pullback this area here at 120.90. If I don't get a pullback to that area, then I'm not going to trade it. I'm going to put an order in the book. If that gets filled, then I'll be happy. If not, I have to have a stop, 2 bars back. There is talk of the Euro-US dollar reaching parity, which we last saw. We traded at 116 back in 05. So unless I get a pullback, I'm not going to take it. Pound. Now I think what we might see on Monday morning open, well, Monday around about 7 o'clock time, we might get a gap down because of this extreme weakness and the volatility of the situation we're in at the moment. But so if we get a gap down, I would leave it and wait to see later in the day if we get any moves up in the equity markets. We might well get a move back up in the pound against the dollar. But if we get any move back to 145 or 145.30 ideally, I would short with a first target of these lows. If we put on the fibs from these lows to these highs up here, you can see that the extensions take us right down to 138.80. So 140 being a nice round number, that is an obvious target for the pound if we can get in on a pullback and ride it down with a breakdown through 142.30. But that's my plan on Monday, to leave it if we get any kind of gap down on the open to 10 o'clock tonight, Sunday night the market's open. If we get any kind of gap down, I'm going to leave it, wait to see if we get any moves to the upside on Monday, and then wait for a short and then trade it to these lows and hopefully further down. Right, 2 weeks ago I gave you this reversal bar on the euro pound, right under the 58-day moving average. Very great signal, and the rest is history. If we get any move back to the 8-day moving average, then I will get short, but at the moment, standing aside because we're already very low. All the charts I did on Friday were based on the big picture swing trade setups because I was hardly at my screen, and saw this one on Thursday night. This was a reversal bar after a touch of the 20-day moving average, so I put a short in there for the break, and I'm still in this trade with a stop above Friday's bar. So I'm still short the euro pound. I would look for any moves back to 111 to try and get further short if you're not in this already. Euro Aussie dollar. Standing aside from this one because we had a trigger, but I went long here with the trigger bars the upside and the pullback, but it got stopped out. It then sold off on Thursday, but moved back to the upside on Friday. But we're still just under these moving averages. So with a move like this, I'm just standing aside and I'm going to leave that one because I think there's some better charts out there. US dollar yen. This is the yen index. On Friday we had engulfing bar, which engulfed Thursday's selling action and closed right on the 200 and the 50 EMA. Now traditionally, in times of fear, the yen has been bought, but dynamics of Japan is changing with a lot of nervousness in the Japanese market with the issues they've got and the Japanese president resigning. But I think this engulfing action to me suggests that the yen could move to the upside. So when it comes to the US dollar yen, so you can see we've had this touch of this trend line on Friday, but we closed below the 200 EMA and just fractionally below the 50, if I'm right. We're just marginally below the 50. So I'm going to leave this another day longer to see where it wants to go. But if we get any breakdown of this area here, any breakdown of 91.80, I was short with a stop up here at 93 to see if I can get a breakdown of this trend line support on the US dollar yen. US dollar Swissy, not touching it, it's just holding these highs, not doing much. Very poor one to trade. US dollar CAD, massive buying bar, and US dollar CAD, massive buying bar, huge move up. I would buy a pullback to the 200 EMA at 1053.70 or 1053.95 if I can get it. But there's a huge move, 220 point plus move on Friday. Let's see if I get position in that, but it's so strong it might take off again. Value chart still says there's some room more to the upside, and my target will be up here. Have to be quite a large stop. Let's see if that risk reward ratio is going to pan out. See if my target is 185 and my entry is pretty much 1054. I'm going to have to try and get in at 1054 to try and get an entry in this, and my stop's going to have to be 1033. So the risk reward ratio is not there, it's too far gone. Having said that, I'm going to have to stand aside. It's a very, very interesting chart on New Zealand Swissy, NZD CHF. I'm looking back here in the last downturn, and from April 08 to early 09, March 09, we just sold off. So now we're in this wedge here. I think we could be seeing a break to the downside. So we're trapped in this wedge. We've really got no decision at the moment. The way I would play it, I would look for a close below the 50 EMA for a short, or I would look for a close above the 8 and the 21 for a long on the New Zealand Swissy to tell me which way it wants to go. But it's going to make a decision pretty soon. The next day or two we're going to get a decision on that one. Looking at the daily chart of GBPZAR, see it's had some decent moves in the past. It's got a history of there's a massive move to the upside there in October 08. So it does seem to be a big mover in times of volatility. So if we get a break above this trendline resistance up here, close above the trendline resistance, I will take a pull back to the trend line and see if we can get a move to the upside. Got some bottoming patterns here. So it had a double bottom recently, so just interested in this one to see if it can break above that trendline resistance.